you have any reactions? Whoops, I'm always
No. It was court.
You go with him now?
I agree with that.
Okay.
Now she on the ground talking spicy for nothing. His girlfriend mad, guess she wanna fight me or something.
I really don't give a fuck. Like,
I feel you. So as far as like when you talking about with names and shit, you might not be throwing out like Foxy and that, man.
I don't like her, period.
At all.
At all.
Today we're diving into the story of a female rapper whose name echoes louder than her music. Despite only dropping one solo album, Remy Ma's legacy isn't just about her discography. It's about the battles she fought, both in the booth and in real life. Most people first heard of Remy Ma through her early work with Terror Squad, where she dropped one of the most iconic verses in hip-hop history on Lean Back. But when it came to her solo career, things never really quite took off the way that they should have. Her joint album with Fat Joe also didn't make the waves that they hoped for. And if you remember hip-hop in the early 2000s, you remember Remy Ma, not just for her bars, but for her feuds. Now hip-hop beef is nothing new, but Remy took it to another level. Between 2004 and 2007, when she was at the top of her game, she clashed with some of the biggest female rappers in history. Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, and even a young Nicki Minaj. She went after all of them. And here's the thing, they responded, because lyrically, Remy was a real threat. But just as she was cementing her place in rap history, everything came crashing down. It was one downfall after the next, and she was taken out of the game at the peak of her career. Fast forward almost a decade, and she steps back into a completely different hip-hop landscape. And who's sitting at the top? The same Nicki Minaj she once had beef with, except now, Nicki was one of the biggest rappers in the game. Remy did what she could to retain her spot, reigniting old feuds and dropping a collab album with Fat Joe. She even dropped an explosive diss track at Nicki. Still, Remy found a new lane. Today she's one of the most iconic reality TV stars and media personalities. And she's not just a rapper, but a personality who knows how to command attention. So, how did Remy Ma go from a feared lyricist to a reality TV queen? What made her tick? Let's take a deep dive into her history and break it all down.
Smack DVD magazine, your girl Remy Ma, the hottest bitch on the market.
Before she was Remy Ma, she was Reminisce Keone Smith, born on May 30th, 1980 in the Bronx, New York. She grew up in the Castle Hill houses with her 4 siblings, carrying more responsibility than any kid should ever have to. Life in the projects was rough, but for Remy, it was even worse. By the time she was 12, the cracks in her family had turned into full-blown fractures. Her stepfather walked out, leaving behind a mother who was battling a serious addiction. With no stable parental figure, Remy Ma was left to take care of her younger siblings, cooking, cleaning, making sure they had what little they could. But by 13, the family had completely fallen apart. Her siblings were scattered, her mother was in and out of jail, and she found herself bouncing between homeless shelters. As for her biological father, he didn't show up until she was 18, when the damage had already been done. Despite the chaos at home, Remy Ma was sharp, like really sharp. School became her escape, and even though she sometimes questioned why she was even bothered, she dominated academically. She was a straight A student, earning a spot in gifted classes and sitting at the top of her class by junior high. But books were not her only outlet. Writing was her therapy. Poetry became her way of expressing herself, the rage, the loneliness, and the frustration she felt with the world. She saw how unfair life was, especially for women and minorities, and she poured it into her words. Little did she know those words would become her weapon. It's how I vent. When I'm mad, I don't want to argue all the time. I grab my pen and I write something. That's how I express myself. For Remy Ma, writing wasn't just a hobby, it was survival. From a young age, she poured her emotions onto paper, using poetry to make sense of the chaos around her. But it wasn't until she was around 13 years old that she recorded her first song, a haunting track called Suicide. In it, she asked listeners if they'd ever thought about dying, forcing them to question why anyone would choose to take their own life. That raw pain, that unfiltered honesty, it bled into her writing. And as time passed, the sadness she once scribbled into her notebook transformed into razor-sharp bars. What began as poetry turned into freestyle rap in the high school cafeteria. Music became more than just an outlet, it became her first love and a way to escape the realities of life in the projects. But Remy Ma would not be alone for long. Her lunchtime freestyles began turning heads beyond the schoolyard, and word spread throughout the Bronx about a girl from Castle Hill who could take anyone in a battle. The whispers traveled fast, and soon they reached the ears of a Bronx legend in the making, Big Pun. At the time, Pun was already making waves in the rap world, and as luck would have it, he lived just 5 minutes away from Remy. But it wasn't Pun who discovered her, it was an up-and-coming rapper named Sunkiss, a well-known associate of Pun's. Through a mutual neighbor, Remy got a chance to meet Sunkiss after school one day, and she did not hesitate. She spit a verse on the spot, and the moment she was finished, Sunkiss was on the phone with Big Pun telling him, "Yo, you gotta hear this." Without skipping a beat, he passed Remy the phone, and just like that, she was rapping for Big Pun himself. Pun was hooked. He invited her to his house immediately, where she freestyled for him for a whole hour straight. No stumbles, no hesitation, just pure skill. By the time she was finished, she had earned his respect, and more than that, she had secured her place as his protege. From that moment on, Remy was on the fast track to success. Pun took her under his wing, guiding her as she honed her craft. Ironically though, she wouldn't officially join his now legendary group Terror Squad until after his passing. Looking back on that moment in interviews, Remy has told the story countless times, but the impact never fades. It was the start of something bigger than she ever imagined. Her name was about to be written in hip-hop history. We went over to Pun's crib, and when I walk in, he's sitting in there with boxers on, getting a massage. It's just mad dudes everywhere. I started rhyming. The verse that I spit for him actually ended up on his album on the song Miss Martin. But he was just sitting there like, alright, okay, that was aight. Here, give me your number. That was it. I didn't expect him to call. But a couple days later, the phone rang. I picked it up and Big Pun was like, "You live in Castle Hill Projects, right? Come downstairs." "Downstairs where?" "Out front of your building. He's out there with mad people." He said, "You know how to braid? I need my hair braided. Also, we're about to do a video shoot with Jennifer Lopez." So I braid his hair and we go to the shoot and I'm like, wow, this is Big Pun. That's Fat Joe. There's Jennifer freaking Lopez.
And he lived around the corner from my mom and one of his friends and one of my friends. And one day I was walking home from school and they was just like, "Yo, what you doing over here?" He's like, "Oh, no, I'm over here at Punk Crib, whatever. He's like, "Yo, that's my people's with me, she rap."
From the moment Big Pun took her under his wing, it seemed like Remy Ma was just a step away from the fame she would later enjoy. But this is where the rumors start, the blurred lines between fact and legend. One of the biggest mysteries in Remy's come up is why she dropped out of school. Some say it was her troubled home life, that she had to leave behind her straight A record to hustle and make money, the only way she knew how, selling drugs on the street. Others claim she dropped out because she got pregnant with her son, Jason. But here's what we do know. Remy met Big Pun around 1998 or 1999, meaning she was about 18 or 19 at the time. And her son was not born until she was about 20, so pregnancy was not the reason why she left school. So, did she drop out to take care of her family, to survive, or was it really to chase the dream of being a rap star? According to Remy herself, she left behind a boring, bookish life because she wanted the glitz, the glam, and most importantly, the fresh sneakers that came along with being famous. Looking back, Remy does wish she spent more time in school, but the streets and the studio were calling her and she could not resist the urge to go in. I was always really smart in school. My whole family is smart. We have Jeopardy challenges and have Scrabble tournaments. I stopped going to high school when I met Big Pun, which wasn't the smartest thing, so I never got my diploma. No matter how you spin it, one thing is certain, Remy Ma never got her high school diploma. She had her son Jason at 20 in the year 2000, right as she was making her way into the rap game. It should have been the start of something big, and it probably would have been if not for the tragic loss of the man who put her on. Big Pun had wasted no time after discovering Remy Ma. He immediately signed her to Fat Joe's Terror Squad Entertainment, locking in a deal with Loud Records. Under the name Remy Martin and nod to the high-end liquor, she began working on her debut album. For a full year, she trained under Pun, studying his every move in the studio as he recorded Yeah Baby. Whenever he had friends over, he'd put her on the spot, making her rap on command just to show off her talent. She had everything set up for success, a major co-sign, a solid label deal, and the skills to back it up. But in February of 2000, everything fell apart.
The popular Latino rapper known as Big Pun has died. His real name was Christopher Rios, and he died of an apparent heart attack at White Plains Hospital. He was only 27. Sandra Bookman is live in the Longwood section of the Bronx with more on the life and death of Big Pun. Sandra?
Bill, the Bronx is remembering the man they called Big Pun here tonight. We're at the intersection of Westchester Avenue and Rogers Place. Fellow rap artist and graffiti artists are building a mural in his honor. They say that's how they want to see him remembered in this community. They say that, yes, Big Pun was a big man in size, but he was also, more importantly, a big talent with an even bigger soft spot for the Bronx.
Big Pun suffered a fatal heart attack, shaking the hip-hop world to its core. For Remy, the loss was even more personal. She hadn't just lost her mentor, she had lost the man who was supposed to guide her to the top. And to make matters worse, Loud Records, already struggling, went into a downward spiral after losing their biggest star. The label folded soon after, taking Remy's debut album down with it. Still, she wasn't completely lost in the shuffle. She made her official debut on Yeah Baby, appearing on Miss Martin and You Was Wrong, proving that she could hold her own.
Yo, what's on? Thought I'd stay on the block, you was wrong. Now I'm Remy on the rock, so it's on.
But despite delivering standout verses, the moment was overshadowed by Pun's passing. With him gone, Remy's future in rap seemed uncertain. Fat Joe, who had been Pun's right-hand man, saw the potential and kept her close. But for the next few years, she had to grind her way back up. She stayed very active, making waves in the underground scene, landing features on Big L's The Triboro and the remix of M.O.P's Ante Up.
What is more famous, Ante Up the original or Ante Up the remix?
Always in the movie is the original. Yeah. So like we needed extra energy, right? Did we actually need it? But we did.
But the remix.
Thank God for. Yeah, Busta killed it.
Right.
Remy came in and bullied her way on the record.
Right. How did she get on the record?
Bullied her way in, bro. I watched her say this right here. First time I ever heard her say it. She bullied her way on the record. I had no idea she was gonna be on the record. I came to the studio and I can hear the run that, which is from my original verse, but it's not my voice. As I'm walking into the studio, I can hear this shit. I'm going, it don't sound like me. When I walk in the studio, it's blaring. She's sitting up on the top of the couch and shit. She's just sitting there bobbing to her shit. I could play it back. Shit fire though.
Take your show money, take your throw money. Yo, got that fool, 'cause
But a proper solo breakthrough, that was not about to come for another 4 years. Remy was down, but she was not out. With Big Pun gone, Remy Ma found herself under the wing of another heavyweight Puerto Rican rapper, Fat Joe. He saw her potential and wasted no time bringing her into the fold. In 2002, she officially joined Terror Squad, becoming the crew's first and only female rapper. Along with the deal, she was given the opportunity to launch her own solo career. But first, she had to prove she could hold her own. For the next couple of years, Remy was everywhere, not quite in the way she wanted. She made appearances on Fat Joe's Loyalty and He's Not Real, landed a spot on Havoc's You Feel Me / Options, and she even showed up on another posthumous pun track, Freestyle with Remy Martin.
All of a sudden, the big question is, yo, who this bitch reminisce? Is she really thorough with what bubbles do she represent?
She also dropped a few mixtapes of her own, but nothing seemed to really stick. She wasn't satisfied just being a feature artist. That was never the plan. In 2002, she dropped her first solo single, Monster, featuring Swiss Beats. Though it didn't chart, it was a statement. Remy Ma was not here to rap alongside the guys. She was here to compete with them.
Pass the smoke, I gotta have that cancer draw. You know the icky so sticky that you have to choke.
She linked up with DJ K Slay, landing major features on his debut album, The Street Sweeper Volume 1. She held her own next to Fat Joe and A-Bless on Take a Look at My Life and made her mark on an all-female posse cut, 7 Deadly Sins.
Really bumpin' drama king all day. You wanna hop up on this big mama thing called Slay.
But even with all the momentum, Remy didn't want to be known as just another female rapper. She wanted to be the best. At first, I just wanted to be one of the female rappers that was on the top, but I don't want that anymore. That's whack. Women in general aren't given much. They are labeled as one of the girls that happen to pick up a mic. I want my skills to be measured against all rappers, so to be placed only among the females is limiting. I would feel like that would be cheating myself. I want to one day be labeled with the Jadas, Nas's, Puns, Pucks, Bigs, and M's. By 2004, Remy Ma was not just making waves underground, she was making a name for herself everywhere. That year, Terror Squad dropped their sophomore album, True Story, and if we're being honest, the project was almost a full-fledged introduction of Remy Ma to the world. She wasn't just a supporting act, she was the act.
I was up in the club, right? Had some Remy in my cup, right? And that's when I peeped him.
Remy appeared on 8 of the 12 tracks, matching Fat Joe's presence on the album, an almost unheard of feat, especially in a group with a leader as dominating as Fat Joe. With Big Pun gone and a Cuban link out of the picture, she stepped up as Terror Squad's new lyrical powerhouse, and she delivered. The album was a huge critical success, holding its own commercially as well. It peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200 and topped the R&B chart, though it never quite earned an RIAA certification. But what did make history? The album's 2 singles, Take Me Home and Lean Back, both of which featured Remy Ma front and center.
R to the easy, M to the wizard. My arms stay breezy, the dawn stay flizzard.
Lean Back was the moment. The song didn't just top the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks, it dominated the rap and R&B charts, holding the number 1 spot for 7 weeks straight. It went on to earn a gold certification from the RIAA, and in 2005, scored Remy Ma her first Grammy nomination for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or a Group. After that, the founder of Loud Records was convinced it was time for Remy Ma to drop a solo album. Fat Joe got the call, and the industry was ready. Meanwhile, Remy kept proving her skills were not just studio magic. She entered Fight Club, where she faced off against New Jersey's own Lady Luck in a nearly 20-minute freestyle battle. Not only did she take the W, but she also walked away with a $20,000 cash prize.
A few weeks ago, I was really trying to be easy, but since you acting like a fried chicken, I'ma do you greasy, believe me. Remy is off the heezy, I'm running around here like my name was M-Easy. Ain't a need for you to ask where Rem been. You know I'm getting guap when the face on my watch is spinning. I got ice on the front and the back of my pendant, my earrings, my bracelet, my necklace, ridiculous.
After that, Remy was feeling herself, and honestly, rightfully so. The battle didn't exactly turn into a full-blown beef, but it definitely added fuel to her already conceited attitude. Pun intended. But this was just the beginning, because while the Lady Luck battle was just friendly competition, it wouldn't be long before Remy found herself deep in real feuds, ones that would go down in hip-hop history. But before we get into that, let's talk about the music she put out between her Lean Back takeover and her unexpected fall from grace in 2008. After making a name for herself on True Story, Remy Ma kept the momentum going into 2005. She was everywhere, jumping on remixes like Brooke Valentine's Girl Fight, 3 6 Mafia's She Got You Feeling Hooked, and an all-star remix of Lean Back featuring Mace, Eminem, and Lil Jon.
Yeah, Harlem and TS. Who in the world want a problem with that?
But she wasn't just riding the feature wave, she was gearing up for something bigger. Her solo album was officially set for release in September of 2005, and the anticipation was high. But behind the scenes, trouble was already brewing. Remy Ma wanted full creative control over her project, and that did not sit well with her labels, Universal, SRC, and even Terror Squad. Tensions began rising, and before long, she found herself butting heads with everyone, including Fat Joe.
50 Cent is up on the radio disrespecting me. Papoose in the background laughing, joking around. He's Remy Martin's husband. She got diarrhea out her mouth. All I ever do for this bum chick was take her out the projects and get her Beamers and Benzes, move her to Jersey and put money in her pocket. Let's keep it real. That's her man. He can't control his girl.
Then came the first real setback. In August, she dropped the single Whatever as the lead single, expecting it to make a splash. Instead, it flopped completely, missing the Billboard Hot 100 and peaking at number 79 on the R&B chart. With the single failing to gain traction and her ongoing disputes with the label, her album kept getting pushed back. First, it moved from September to December of 2005, then from December to February of 2006. The delays were frustrating, but Remy Ma was not just sitting idle, she kept grinding, dropping her first official mixtape, Most Anticipated, in November of 2005. Then, she caught a break. Her second single, Conceited, performed much better than Whatever.
I'm conceited, I got a reason. See, I look too good to be driving that, and I look too good to be buying that.
While it was not a major hit, it became her most successful pre-prison single, peaking at number 90 on the Hot 100, number 25 on the R&B chart, and number 17 on the rap chart. More importantly, it gave her a signature track, one that the fans still associate with her to this day. But behind the scenes, Remy was fed up. The day before her album was finally set to drop in February of 2006, Remy took her frustrations public, calling out SRC Records in an interview. In the interview, she revealed that her album had been finished over a year ago. She had been ready, but the industry politics were not working in her favor. And this was just the beginning of her battle. I think they f***ing suck, but hey, thank God I got good material. Hopefully that's good enough. The numbers weren't what they wanted at the time on my first single, Whatever. They were scared to death, and they went with the Conceited song when they should have just waited. They were fucking beasting and mad scared. My album had been done since this time last year. That goes to show you how retarded they are. So in February 2006, exactly 6 years after Big Pun's passing, Remy Ma finally dropped her debut album, There's Something About Remy, based on a true story.
Put your right hand up, put your left hand up, put your right hand up, put your left hand up.
At the time, she claimed the date was just a coincidence, even saying she had to school her label on its significance. But years later, after prison and a little bit more life experience, she admitted the truth. She had pushed for that release date out of sentimentality. No matter the reason, the album delivered. Critics loved it. From vibe to all hip-hop, the project was praised for its balance, commercial singles, street anthems, and introspective records that showed Remy's depth as an artist. But as we all know, critical success does not always mean commercial success. And in Remy's case, the album flopped.
Remy Ma. Showing some skill. We got the sex appeal going on. That's good.
All of a sudden,
because you didn't have all the sex appeal all the time before, right?
Because I didn't want to be distracted. I wanted people to actually listen to what I was saying for a minute. Now, it really doesn't matter. Okay? Now, they actually know, like, all right, Remy's going to say something crazy. And it's like, oh, and she's kind of okay looking. All right.
You want people just to take you for your lyrics.
At first.
But now it's all about marketability now.
No, I mean, at the same time. Like, first my lyrics, and then, you know, everything else comes. Nobody wants people to think that they're ugly. That's not cool.
It's not a good look, right?
It's not.
Due to poor promotion, it peaked at number 33 on the Billboard 200, number 7 on the R&B chart, and number 2 on the rap chart. At the time, Remy blamed the labels, arguing that they did not push the album hard enough. Her first single, Feel So Good, dropped around April of 2006, and despite receiving zero promotion, still managed to make it onto some charts, though it was not a commercial hit. So, behind the scenes, things were falling apart. Now, there are plenty of theories about what actually went down between Remy and her labels, Universal, SRC, and Terror Squad, but what's clear is that she was deeply involved in every aspect of her album. She wrote her own rhymes, picked her own beats, brainstormed her own concepts, so much so that she even earned an executive production credit. But according to Complex, one of the biggest disputes began over Feel So Good. When recording the track, Remy wanted Neo on the hook. Fat Joe and her label, on the other hand, wanted Mario. She fought for her vision, and in the end, she won. But Def Jam threw a wrench in the plan because Neo had just appeared on Ghostface Killer's Back Like That. They refused to let him film for a video for Remy's single. This was just one of the many battles she was facing. Now, some say Remy's biggest issue was that she didn't fully understand the industry politics behind the scenes. She had a reputation for being brash when rejecting beats or ideas, and eventually people began going, okay, I don't want to work with her because she's very hard to deal with.
Remy Martin's husband, she got diarrhea out her mouth.
Now, others claim that her real tension began over her issues with Fat Joe. For example, the video for Feel So Good was supposedly set to be filmed in the Dominican Republic, but rumors swirled that it never happened because of their beef.
Baby girl, you feel so good. Little mama, that thing is so good.
Either way, by 2007, Remy cut ties with both Universal and SRC.
Yes, I'm definitely switching labels. We working on signing those release papers as we speak. So I will be definitely switching labels. I don't know where I'm going yet, but it's gonna be with somebody that got the same drive like me, that want to win like me. Like, the second is the first loser, and I don't want to be that.
Now, even without major label backing, Remy kept grinding. She continued to drop music throughout 2006, appearing on multiple DJ K-Slade tracks, like One and Only, My Boo, Can't Stop the Rain, The Heart Is Out.
Cooper's baby blue, the interior's yellow, so I figured it'd be cute to call my Carmelo.
DJ Clues You Don't Really Wanna, and Currency's non-album single Where the Cash At, which peaked at number 73 on the R&B charts.
See that other chick asked that. She said where the cash at. Rim said where the paper, plastic product, and where the stash at.
Now in 2007, she fully embraced the mixtape circuit. She dropped the BX Files and Jesus Christ in August, and it seemed like she was finally finding her own path, free from label drama.
When it's Remy time, when it's Remy time, when it's Remy time, when it's Remy time.
But then her legal troubles caught up to her. But before we get into that story, let's rewind a little bit. Remember that beef we mentioned back in 2004? Yeah, let's talk about that.
I really don't give a fuck. Like,
I feel you. So as far as like when you talking about with names and shit, you might not be throwing out like Foxy and that, man.
I don't like her, period.
At all.
At all. At all. Like, never mind the music, yeah. She has songs and shit that I like, and the music like that. Come Fly With Me, shit, I listen to it, it come on. I like the song. Her as a person, I don't like her, and I don't give a fuck. I'll say that shit to fucking, she know I don't like her.
Yeah.
Period. Like, what I'm gonna be saying here, no comment, and shit is fucking whack. The streets know what it is. When shit be happening, we don't be in private, we be in clubs, offices, shit where other people see it, so that's how shit get out. What the fuck I'm gonna deny it for when niggas ask me in the camera? I don't give a fuck.
Now every true hip-hop head knows beef isn't just about drama, it's a sport. And back in the early 2000s, it was not just about sneak disses on social media or subtweets. Beef mattered back then. It proved a rapper's skills, solidified street credibility, and most importantly, it generated fans, publicity, and dollars. Now, Remy Ma understood this better than most. As a female rapper in a male-dominated industry, she knew that she had to prove herself more than the rest. At the time, a lot of females in the game had ghostwriters, a claim that Remy would proudly shut down at any moment with a freestyle on the spot. She wasn't just there to make catchy hooks, she was there to battle. And as her fame grew, she was ready to take on any woman that would step up to her. Enter Foxy Brown. Now, the first official shot in their now infamous feud came in 2004, right after Remy Ma's legendary Fight Club victory against Lady Luck. Riding high off her win, she sat down for multiple interviews to discuss her rising career. When doing an interview with All Hip Hop, the conversation touched on everything: her growing label situation with Universal, her still unfinished debut album, and all the underground rappers now lining up to challenge her after her Fight Club performance. Then came the question. The interviewer pointed out the lack of female rappers at the time, mentioning that Foxy Brown had nothing going on and that Rah Digga's album was stuck in limbo. Then they asked Remy how she felt about the state of women in hip-hop and how it might impact her own career. And that's when she said the words that would ignite a decade-long war. How do I feel about them? Stay wherever they at. Don't drop a song. Don't do nothing. Let me be the only one. I'm having so much fun. I hope they never come out. That's f***ed up to say. It's gonna look bad when they read it. Nah, I wish everyone the best of luck. Just don't drop when I drop. That's all I gotta say. Matter of fact, just don't drop at all. It'll even be better. That first shot in 2004, it was just the beginning. What followed was a chaotic, years-long feud. One with no clear timeline, tons of rumors, and barely any hard evidence left behind.
It's a lot of people I don't like. Like, if I sat here and named all the people in my life that I met I don't like, what the fuck, who cares? It's people that don't like me. I'm sure she don't like me. Do I give a fuck? No. She probably don't give a fuck that I don't like her. Who cares? Period. That's it.
And to make things even worse, both Remy Ma and Foxy Brown had a habit of exaggerating their stories, making it nearly impossible to separate fact from fiction. But here is what is known. Tensions between the two began after Remy's Fight Club win against Lady Luck. Allegedly, Foxy thought that Remy should show some level of respect or acknowledge her seniority in the game. But Remy, she was not about to bow down to anybody. And according to Remy, another major factor in their beef was that they kept getting interviewed right before or after each other at different industry events. In those interviews, Remy claimed Foxy would send subliminal shots her way, saying things like, "I've been doing this for years. These new chicks, they're not on my level." For the next 3 years, Remy Ma and Foxy Brown kept their beef alive, trading shots on wax, and nearly taking it into the streets multiple times. One of the most infamous moments of their feud allegedly went down at a Baby Fat after party. According to rumors, Remy and Foxy Brown got into a heated exchange, which ended with Remy cracking Foxy over the head.
I-97, who this?
The hottest chick on the market, Remy Martin.
Rim, what's good, baby?
What's up, baby? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good.
So, Remy, hi, everybody.
Let's get right into it, Remy.
Okay.
Are you fighting?
No.
The story? Supposedly, Foxy was trying to block Remy and her entourage from entering the VIP section, which led to things getting physical. But according to Remy, that never happened. In fact, she later laughed off the fact that she would even want to get into the VIP section to begin with, saying that it was always too hot and that she preferred being on the dance floor anyway. Still, the rumors spread like wildfire. 2 weeks later, Remy Ma called in to Hot 97 to clear the air, and according to her, the beef actually began after her Fight Club battle with Lady Luck, when Foxy Brown's team reached out to her about setting up a battle of their own. And from there, things only got messier. Her people wanted to put together a battle between me and her for $1,000. So when they called me, I said, why not make it $200,000? Like, if you initiating a battle for $100,000, you must think you're gonna win. So I said, make it 200. First they said no, then they called back and said yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a go. But I had never spoke to her yet. I think I was speaking to her brothers and them. So I was like, whatever. Then they called back and was like, she's gracefully bowing out. At first, Remy Ma was not even looking for a beef with Foxy Brown. After hearing rumors that Foxy's team wanted to set up a rap battle between them, Remy decided to go straight to the source. She wanted to ask Foxy herself if she even knew about the offer, and more importantly, to make sure there was no bad blood. But when she finally saw Foxy Brown in person, that plan went right out of the window. According to Remy, Foxy was being extra loud, over the top, and basking in the attention of the cameras like she was the it girl.
What happened? Did you come for her, or did she come for you?
Nah, like, as far as I know, everything was copacetic until, like, a few weeks ago, before the VMAs. Her people supposedly called my A&R on them. They wanted to put together a battle between me and her for $100,000.
Whoa.
So when they called me and said, yo, Rem, they say Fox wanted to battle you for $100,000, I told them, why not make it $200,000?
Oh.
Like, if you're initiating a battle for $100,000, you must think you're going to win. So I said, make it $200,000. First they said no, then they called back and said yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, it was a go. But I had never spoke to her yet. Like, we were speaking to her, I think they speaking to her brothers in them. So I was like, all right, whatever. Then they called back and was like, she's gracefully bowing out. And, you know, people like...
But did y'all have a fight at the club? That's what we need to know.
That's what it started from. I've seen her or whatever on something like, yo, I want to ask her personally. Like, maybe she don't even know about, you know how stuff go through other people.
Right.
So, but when I seen her, she was acting crazy, like extra loud and telling the cameras, you know, thanks for loving me, and this crazy, like...
Something about her energy rubbed Remy Ma the wrong way. And just like that, she decided to let the whole rap battle idea go. Then came the infamous baby fat after party. That night, Remy spotted Foxy Brown coming out of the bathroom looking flustered, one earring missing, her pocketbook getting kicked around on the floor. Word was, Foxy Brown had gotten into an altercation in the bathroom with another woman. And that's just a rumor. Whatever had gone down in there, Foxy was clearly pissed, storming through the club, shoving people out of the way as she moved. And then she intentionally bumped into Remy. And here's where things get wild. Foxy was rocking a waist-length weave, and as she shoved past, a strand of hair got tangled in Remy's bracelet. Instinctively, Remy snapped her wrist back to avoid losing the bracelet, accidentally yanking a couple of strands from Foxy's hair. Foxy then kept it moving. She didn't escalate things right there and then, but the message was loud and clear. That bump was not an accident. And just like that, a decade-long feud was born. After the club incident, Remy decided to do what most rappers don't. She tried to clear the air before things spiraled even further. She called Foxy Brown to talk about everything, starting from the rumored $200,000 rap battle, but getting Foxy Brown on the phone was not easy. Remy claimed it took about 45 minutes of calling before Foxy finally picked up. And when she did, she didn't exactly come with peace offerings. According to Remy, Foxy's response was nothing short of disrespectful. She looked down on Remy, brushing her off with a comment that only added fuel to the fire. She's like, what? I don't battle. Battling is for beginners. We get money. We make hit records. So I'm like, you're not a beginner. So what are you trying to say? I'm a beginner? Like, okay, you get money. I seen you 3 days in a row. You got the same shoes, same pocketbook. I haven't heard a song from you in the longest. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't even got a record deal now. So why are you trying to play me? At that moment, Remy Ma no longer saw Foxy Brown as a friend or competitor. She saw her as an enemy. Years later, it would later come out that Jay-Z was the one who told Foxy Brown not to get involved in the battle. According to Jay, Foxy Brown was above it.
Foxy new album should be coming up soon. Work with her. You know, yeah.
You guys work pretty well together.
Yeah. It's that that male female, you know what I mean, point of view though. You just that our point of view is so strong that it has to be, you can't be ignored, you know what I mean? It's like an ordinary point of view. It's like very controversial. You know, you got to speak about it. So it's cool. It's cool.
You guys get along pretty well?
Yeah. Fox is she's a baby, but she listens to me, you know what I mean?
But if we're being real, there's a good chance it had nothing to do with that, and everything to do with the fact that he knew that Foxy could not mess with Remy on a lyrical level. Either way, the battle never happened, but that didn't mean the beef ended. By early 2005, the tension between the two had reached an all-time high. After Remy gave her Hot 97 interview, Foxy fired back with another interview of her own, this time with DJ Clue. And she didn't just talk, she rapped. She took shots at Remy Ma on the track We Hustlers, directly referencing Remy's Hot 97 appearance with her lyrics. One thing was clear, this was far from over.
Now I'm battle, never did, bitch, I'm worth millions. And I own couple homes where they speak a Brazilian.
Who drives 645s? That's whack. We sell records in New York. We don't just get on the radio station and pop shit. Now this wasn't just some subliminal jab that could be brushed off as a coincidence. Remy Ma and Foxy Brown were ready to go at it. Now according to the rumors, Foxy Brown and Remy Ma actually faced off inside the Island Def Jam Universal offices. According to whispers in the industry, Remy didn't just exchange words with Foxy. She allegedly threw a punch at Foxy's face. Now neither rapper has confirmed whether the fight actually took place, but sources say that Foxy's security was there at the time, and while they didn't step in to stop the fight, they helped Foxy Brown into an elevator and got her out of the building afterwards. Whatever really happened that day, the beef seemed to simmer, but it never truly died.
This is like Monday, 1, 2 in the morning. That afternoon, like 1, 2 in the afternoon, I happened to be at the Def Jam building. Who's in the building? None other than, Miss Good told herself. So I asked her, like, yo, what is your problem? Like, yo, what is wrong with you? Like, you really want me to smack you? Like, what the fuck? She's like, I'm not even gonna get into, people got on Timberlands and all that. I got on a good toe right now. Like, son, it's like 6 feet of snow outside. Why do I even see your toes? Like, fucking, this is, like, I'm mad I'm even having this conversation. Like, I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. Like, I already know. Like, I seriously smack you. Like, let this be the last time. Like, you went crying to Bert Padell, because we have the same business manager. Like, crying, please, beg her, just leave me alone. Don't say anything. Like, is it so hard to say no comment? Whatever. Like, we went through all of that. So let's just leave it at that. Like, but while I'm walking, she's keeping it extremely moving. Like, so once I get on her, like, once I'm like, yo, say anything. Like, yo, say Brooklyn. Say Fox, Buddy. Say anything. Like, and this is going to be a fucking rap. She was like, security, where's Jay? Where's Jay? Can somebody find Jay? Like, why is she even in the building? Can we get security? Like, you have security with you out there. This is that big diesel nigga right there. Security. How you get security? Screaming for security. Like, after that, and I think the next morning, the next day, I got a call from Booker. He was like, we need to have a talk. You need to sit down because this has to stop. And then after that, I agreed to leave her alone. And I wasn't going to talk about it.
By 2006, the beef was well known in hip-hop circles, and Remy decided to take things one step further. That February, she dropped a freestyle titled Most Anticipated, a track that took direct shots at Foxy.
Me raw by washed up video chick, and how I'm arguing with Foxy, she can't hear shit.
She mocked Foxy's hearing problems and, for some reason, also threw shade at video vixen Buffy the Body. Her bars were savage. Picture me robbed by a washed up video chick, and how I'm arguing with Foxy when she can't hear shit. Still, when asked about the diss, Remy downplayed it, claiming nothing. It was just good punchlines. I thought it was hot. I don't have anything against Buffy at all. Foxy either. I just spit anything sometimes and I don't care. You thought it was a hot line. Now if you ask me, Remy definitely stepped up to Foxy Brown in 2005, and honestly, Foxy probably backed off, not just because Remy had all the bite while she only had the bark, but because deep down, she knew she couldn't win a lyrical war against Remy. So, Foxy Brown kept quiet. Now, over the next few years, Remy kept taking jabs at Foxy. However, Foxy was not saying anything against Remy, and it looked like she wanted no parts of the beef. Then came September of 2006. News broke that Foxy had recovered her hearing, and instead of letting it slide, Remy took the perfect chance to pour salt on the wound. She jumped on a radio station to make her feelings known, announcing that since Foxy Brown could finally hear again, she wanted to be the first to tell her, "You're whack and old." Brutal. The thing is, Foxy Brown could hear her now, but she was still refusing to openly retaliate. It wasn't until July of 2007 when she finally addressed the issue, and even then she refused to name names, keeping it as vague as possible. When you're looking at Foxy and Kim and saying, "Damn, y'all make me wanna rap," well shit, you're disappointing me cause you sound horrible. You look horrible. You sound horrible. I gotta say, if it walk like something, talk like something, act like something, then it is something. So my thing is, some of these female rappers have the wrong approach. They wanna be my friend, and instead of approaching me like, "Hey, how you doing?" Say Trina, who approached me with the best respect like, "I love you and oh my god, you know you make me wanna rap and I love you." Another chick was like, "Yo, what's up with that battle?" And I'm looking at her like, "You bum ass." Nah, I don't do that. I'm a businesswoman, baby. Now, according to Foxy, she refused to engage in the beef because she didn't want to make them bigger than they were. It was a classic move. She ignored the shots and acted like she was above it all. Remy, on the other hand, had no problem keeping it real. In December of 2007, she sat down for another interview where she explained her situation. She openly said that she did not like Foxy Brown as a person, and she didn't respect her music. In fact, she even said that both Lil Kim and Foxy influenced her as a kid. But she was not about to let that excuse Foxy's behavior. Now, Remy ended her thoughts on the feud with a simple but brutal truth. Foxy had beef with some of the biggest rappers in the game, and if she kept ending up in a beef with everyone, the common denominator was her. So maybe, just maybe, she was the problem. If you look at every female that came out after Foxy, or when she came out with Lil Kim, to Eve, me, Jackie O, it even got to Latifah. Like, how do you get in a fight with Queen Latifah? Like, are you serious? This chick is a problem. Now, just as things were heating up between Remy Ma and Foxy Brown, everything came to an abrupt halt. In 2008, Remy caught her bid, cutting off their feud at its peak. Like most rap beefs, time eventually made it meaningless. By the time Remy Ma was released from prison, Foxy had faded from the spotlight, and while the two never formally squashed their beef, in fact, Foxy reignited it briefly in 2017, their rivalry had quietly fizzled out. They were never friends, not even close, but their beef had just lost its fire. Now, Foxy Brown was not the only heavyweight Remy Ma had set her sights on. By 2005, she began beefing with another female rapper, Lil Kim.
Like Kim?
I fucks with Kim. At one point, I don't know, Kim thought like I used to try to play her or whatever. I like Kim, I love Kim, you know what I'm saying? Like both of them is chicks that like I looked up to, like when I was coming out, like yo, like because they was the only chicks that was doing it. Black chicks from the hood.
And they was rapping on her, and you could hear they was home.
Started out from nowhere. And they rolling with niggas that I fucks with. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'd be sitting here lying if I say, like, I never liked her. I never like, you know what I'm saying? As a person, though, like, knowing them, I met Lil Kim. She's a nice fucking person.
Now, let's be clear. This wasn't some all-out war. The tension between Remy Ma and Kim never quite reached Foxy Brown and Remy Ma levels, nor did it last nearly as long. If anything, this beef was mostly under the radar, but it's still worth mentioning. At the time, Remy Ma was frustrated, her solo debut album was being pushed back, and behind the scenes, she was butting heads with her label. Meanwhile, Lil Kim had just dropped her infamous album, The Naked Truth, while she was incarcerated, no less.
That you're off to jail in a week and you're trying to get a lot of things done before you go.
Yes. Actually, right now, I'm working on a reality show, and my camera crew's been following me around.
Yeah, I see. You got a camera.
mean, it's so much fun. So, you know, if you know, the outside, our fans, the people get to look from the outside in and really see how, you know, entertainers really live. It's not all good.
It's not glamorous.
Right. But then there's a lot of fun parts, a lot of, you know, good things that happen. So all of you that's kind of getting the industry, you know, just don't give up. Because, you know, it gets crazy. And, you know, you got to deal with the good and the bad. But whatever you want, you can get it.
And then came the real sting. The Source gave Kim's album a perfect 5 mic rating, the first and only time a female rapper had achieved that honor. Now, if we're keeping it real, The Source wasn't exactly known for its credibility, but still, a 5 mic rating was huge. And to Remy, who had prided herself on writing every single bar, giving that honor to someone who had ghostwriters was a dismissal to her lyrical ability. And Remy had no problem airing out her frustrations. Remy hit the radio waves and let it be known she believed she was far superior to Kim as a rapper. And this is while Lil Kim was locked up. Years later, in a 2008 interview, Kim would recall, "Everybody that knows me knows that I don't just come at nobody for no reason. It all started when I got 5 mics in the Source magazine. She all on the radio talking reckless. Fuck that, son. My shit hotter than hers. Come on, ma. This is what I do. Biggie crowned me Queen Bee, and you can't take that from me. When I got locked up, she was talking reckless again on the radio, but when I got home, she was at my party. I brushed that off and let a lot of shit slide, but enough is enough. That's where it is. I ain't even gotta dedicate any more time to that." Now, for a while, the tension between Remy Ma and Lil Kim was just that, tension. But by late 2006 and early 2007, things officially escalated into a beef. It all began when Remy dissed Kim on the radio, and Kim was not about to let that slide. Around 2007, she fired back with I Get It, a remix of 50 Cent's I Get Money, taking shots at Remy.
Who the hell is this chick? She been out kinda long, had one hot song, I'm sorry I missed it.
And if Kim thought Remy Ma would just sit back and take it, big surprise. Remy Ma responded immediately. She dropped her own diss track, That Thing, on her She Says Christ mixtape, going straight for Kim's neck.
Remember when she told us she was about the Benjamins? You act like I know that she wasn't writing in to begin.
But she didn't stop there. Around December of 2007, she took it a step further, calling into a radio station and absolutely tearing Kim apart, hitting her where it hurt. That little boy better leave me alone. She was saying, I'm going at Remy hard, she go hard to me, so I go hard back. I feel like if that's going at me hard, like seriously, I'm just gonna chill out. That's crazy to me. What did she say? Put it on my lipstick? I was too busy being conceited? Like, how could you be conceited? You don't even like your own face. What are you talking about? Are you serious? How was I supposed to take that offensive? I don't believe you. You don't like your nose. You don't like your cheek. You don't like your chin. You don't like your skin color. You don't like your tits. You don't like your stomach. You don't like your teeth. What are you talking about? At the end of the day, it's funny to me. When I feel like someone's getting at me, then I'll drag them all over the first spot that I see them, of course. But in the meantime, in between time, like this chick has more ghostwriters than Foxy Brown. I just feel like right now she's reaching. Now for a while, Remy Ma and Lil Kim kept their beef low-key, trading shots here and there. Remy even told The Source outright she believed she was the better rapper. No question about it. But when Remy started her prison bid around 2008, the tables turned. With Remy locked up, Kim saw the perfect chance to take her own shots. In another interview, she finally gave her side of the story, revealing what sparked their feud in the first place. But she didn't stop there. She threw Remy's own insult back at her. Kim dismissed the idea that they were ever in competition, taking a personal dig by claiming Remy Ma had too much testosterone to be considered a real threat.
Like, for real, you know, my niggas have, they have debates about it. They be like, yo, son, on a hard night, son, on a hard night. Who you running up in? Remy Man or a transvestite? They be like, yo, son, I gotta go with the transvestite, son. I can't do Remy Ma. I can't. That's just not. That ain't a good look. So, I mean, come on now. Like, everything she do got too much testosterone. So, like,
but then she just shoot
come
like
at
somebody,
me.
like, or allegedly shot somebody. Like, she's crazy.
I don't know, but let me tell you something. Everybody who know me, they know I ain't gonna just come at nobody for no reason. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to know, how did that start real quick? Can you give a one-on-one?
All right. I'm gonna break it down here.
We want the Kim edition.
All right, the Kim edition is right, because everybody know me. I ain't gonna just come. I spread love to my females. Every female that came in the game, I embraced them. Because that's what you gotta do. When I came in, Salt and Pepper, they embraced me. So it's like, you know what? I gotta spread the same love. So I embrace everybody. But it seems like all the females that come in the game, as soon as they come in the game, they gotta take shots at me. It all started when I got the 5 mics.
Wow.
She on the radio talking reckless, you know, fuck that, son. My shit hotter than hers. Come on, ma, I do this. This is what I do. Biggie crowned me Queen B. You can't take that away from me. I'm sexy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a sexy motherfucker.
God bless you.
But moving right along, you know what I mean? And then it's like when I got locked up, talking reckless again on the radio. But then when I come home, she come to my party.
Wow.
Like, what's up, Kim? I love you. You know, can I take a picture with you? Yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? I brushed a lot of shit off. I let a lot of shit slide. But you know, enough is enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is where it is. This is where it is. So whatever, man. I ain't even gonna dedicate no more time to that, because it's all about me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm that bitch.
She then took it even further, saying she'd rather get freaky in the sheets than with a lady man than Remy Ma. But in the end, the beef died out while Remy was incarcerated, never to be reignited. In fact, when Remy got out, the two actually came together to collaborate, and around 2017 they dropped Wake Me Up, officially putting the past behind them. Their truce had already been sealed about 3 years earlier, when they squashed their beef for good at Fabulous's party in 2014. I guess sometimes time heals all wounds.
So wake me up early. I'm rich, I'ma stay that bitch. You fake ass bitch, you owe homage, pay that shit.
It was natural, organic. We didn't have to talk about it. We didn't discuss, let's just forget about the past. It was an instant like, yo, this shit's stupid. We looked at each other, hugged each other, took a picture, exchanged numbers, and ever since, I f***ed with Lil Kim. Now by the time 2007 came around, things began unraveling fast for Remy Ma. If you've been following her journey, you probably saw this coming. She had been growing more and more problematic over the years. But was it just drama for the sake of drama? Not exactly. It seemed more like she was trying to cement her reputation, making sure she could stand toe-to-toe with her male counterparts in the industry. She wasn't exactly Foxy Brown, but she had the lyrical talent, a tough upbringing, and the undeniable fact that she had been the face keeping the Terror Squad relevant after Big Pun's passing. Maybe that got to her head. Or maybe she just woke up to the reality that Fat Joe, her supposed mentor, wasn't much different from every other shady industry figure. The Terror Squad's own version of Birdman, if you will, and Cuban Link will attest to this. Whatever the case, things began crumbling just as Remy was gearing up to release her debut album. Her frustration with the label became public. She voiced her complaints in interviews, making it very clear that she was not happy with the way things were going. And when the album finally dropped, it flopped hard. Despite coming out on the anniversary of Big Pun's death, it was painfully under-promoted. The numbers tell the story. First week sales were somewhere between 40,000 and 70,000 copies, and by 2007, the total had crept up to 160,000. Still, it never managed to get any kind of RIAA certification, a brutal reality for an artist with her talent. Feeling betrayed by her label and increasingly disillusioned with Fat Joe, Remy Ma wasted no time trying to break free. It took over a year of legal back and forth and what were probably some heated negotiations, but she finally secured her release from Terror Squad. Now there's another version of events, one where her own arrogance and mistreatment of producers played a vital role in her downfall. According to rumors, Her attitude, along with her feud with Fat Joe, got her banned from the label's office before they eventually dropped her.
His performances, he brought out former Terror Squad member Remy Ma. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about that?
Girl, I feel sad for her. God bless Remy Ma. I feel sad for her because she, you know, we really loved her. She left the Terror Squad.
Also, man, on a lot of the hip-hop websites, a young lady released a videotape where she claimed that she was involved with Remy and they was in a relationship.
I don't know.
You see anything about that?
That has nothing to do with me, man. Has nothing to do with me, you know? It's just a lot of stuff is karma, man. You know? When you wild out and all that shit be coming right back, you know? So, I wish her well.
Whichever version you believe, one thing is certain. By 2007 of April, Remy Ma was officially done with the squad that made her famous. And despite the behind-the-scenes drama, she played it cool in public, or at least she tried, and she chalked it up to growing up and moving on. But if you read between the lines, it was obvious she blamed Terror Squad for her album's failure. And just like that, the chapter closed on what could have been a legendary run. But for Remy, things were about to take an even darker turn. I felt that I had outgrown them. I had been dealing with Joe and Steve since I was 18 years old. We no longer had the same goals. They're used to me being little Remy, who wanted all the fly sneakers, a nice whip, and the biggest chain you ever saw on a girl. After whatever, conceited and feels so good, I should have been out of here. To me, they just didn't have the same drive anymore. They're getting older and they're comfortable. Me, on the other hand, I'm just maturing and I'm hungry and I'm in beast mode. I want so much and I refuse to lose or settle. I paid my dues, now it's Remy time. After parting ways with Terror Squad, Remy Ma and Fat Joe kept their distance, at least publicly. There were no explosive diss tracks or direct shots, just subtle jabs in interviews where they both pretended to not have a problem. They would say things like, "I wish them the best," carefully sidestepping any real drama. But everyone knew what was up. They were not cool. They were just not about to turn it into a full-fledged war. Not that Remy had much time for beef anyway. By mid-2007, she was moving like a woman on a mission. Free from label restrictions, she wasted no time getting back to work. Her sophomore album, Punisher, was already in the works, with its lead single, Fresh, dropping in spring.
Hey, I'm fresh, I'm fresh.
But she didn't stop there. That summer, she dropped 2 mixtapes back to back, Jesus Christ and The BX Files, proving she wasn't slowing down anytime soon.
Jay-Z's Jehovah, Nas is Godson, and I was spitting crack to the people and die, son. And then I came back like I never left nice, then I'm the BX Savior, Jesus Christ. If Jay-Z's Jehovah, Nas is Godson, and I was spitting crack to the people and die, son. And then I came back like I never left nice, then I'm the BX Savior. That's right, I don't listen. Fuck what you told me. I shits on these bitches. Niggas can't control me. I pissed on my contract. Dismissed Joey. Now I call him Sprint, cause that motherfucker phony. I'm looking for Remy while I'm roaming. Literally, I'm in Italy. Nigga, I'm holding. Puffin' that young 6-pit. I'm smoking. Poppin' that E. Motherfucker, you rolling. See, Pun told him she's so nice. And when it comes to the pen, that she was like some of the greatest of men, the way she would write. And now I'm the BX Savior, Jesus Christ.
And it wasn't just music. Remy had big plans. She envisioned an all-female rap supergroup called Threesome, featuring herself, Shauna, and Jackie O. Her goal? To create a female version of G-Unit, an alliance of women in hip-hop who would push each other forward instead of competing. On top of that, she was getting multiple offers from labels, G-Unit included, and even had a reality show in the works. The bag was coming together, but the beef wasn't going away either. As Remy gained momentum, she got bolder. And Jesus Christ, she fired shots at Lil Kim on the track That Thing, and we spoke about this before, but it was her shots at Fat Joe that caught the most attention. She never said his name outright, but she didn't need to. She threw shade at Lean Back and Fat Joe and accused him of not paying the squad.
The second verse is dedicated to him. More worried about his sneakers and his phantoms than his old friends. Remember when you ain't wanna pay rims.
She even mocked him for caring more about sneakers and luxury cars than loyalty. The message was clear. However, before things could escalate, Remy's world came crashing down. Less than 3 months after these moves, she found herself in the biggest legal battle of her life. Suddenly, rap beefs were not that important. Her freedom was at stake. The beef with Fat Joe, it faded into the background. Over the years, time softened the wounds, and by the end of her sentence, she had changed her perspective and was a different woman. More importantly, she and Joe had finally spoken, and whatever issues they had, they left them in the past. I think our issues came from our egos conflicting. Fat Joe used to give me advice on what to do and what not to do, but I didn't listen. He guided me, but I didn't listen to him. If I would have listened to him then, things would have been different now. If I would have listened to Joe half the time, you don't realize it at the time because when you're young, you think you know everything. There was a lot of conflict that could have been avoided. Sometimes when you have to hit records out, you let that control your actions and affect your relationships. Meanwhile, around the same time, Fat Joe too announced their ceasefire in an interview with XXL, singing her praises throughout the interview and stating, "I believe I'm more mature and understanding these days. And years ago, I was a young knucklehead out of the Bronx. You know, I have a different understanding of life. So, she called me up and we made peace. It was cool with me. I never had a problem. I never hated Remy. I mean, my feelings were hurt with whatever transpired between us. I never hated her. I wished her the best. I'm still rooting for her right now." And now let's get into that jail bit that we keep talking about. As already mentioned, by mid-2007, Remy Ma was on the brink of something huge. She had the talent, the connections, and the hustle to take her career to the next level. A new album, major label deals, a reality show, a rap supergroup. It was all in the works. She had beef to keep her name buzzing, and her confidence was at an all-time high. Maybe a little too high. Because just when it seemed like she was about to level up, karma came crashing in hard. On July 14, 2007, Remy Ma turned herself into the authorities. The charge, shooting her acquaintance Makita Barnes Joseph outside a Manhattan nightclub. Now here's how the story goes. Earlier that night, Remy Ma had $3,000 stolen from her. She believed Makita had taken it, and things escalated very fast. The two ended up in Makita's car in the club parking lot, where they began fighting over Makita's purse. According to Remy Ma, she simply asked Makita to hold the bag, and when it was returned, the money was gone. One thing led to another, tensions flared, and a gun went off. Twice. Makita was seriously wounded. One bullet went through her colon and rectum, requiring 3 weeks in a hospital to recover. Meanwhile, after the shooting, Remy's luxury SUV was found abandoned 3 blocks away, wrecked in a single car crash. When police arrived at the scene, Makita was still in the vehicle, bleeding out, and Remy was nowhere to be found. But that wouldn't last long. That same night, she turned herself in and was slapped with charges of attempted murder, assault, and criminal weapon possession. At her arraignment, the judge set her bail at $250,000, and she was sent to Rikers Island while awaiting trial.
Yeah, I'm so hard. I'm from the Bronx, but they swear to God I'm from Brooklyn. And you ain't never seen me or my hands be shook, bitch. Look, bitch, I go to jail like Medea and still come home and smack her when I see her.
And just like that, in a blink of an eye, Remy Ma went from a rising star to facing serious prison time. Now Makita had a different tale of events. From Makita's point of view, she and Remy went to a party together and everything was fine until they got into the car. That's when, according to Makita, Remy Ma accused her of stealing the missing $3,000 and demanded that she dump out her purse. When Makita refused, She claimed that Remy shot her twice, rifled through the bag, and left her bleeding in the car without offering any help. From there, the rumors took a life of their own. Some claimed it wasn't $3,000 that was missing, it was $10,000. Others said Makeda and Remy had been lifelong friends. Then there were whispers that Makeda had actually been shot 4 times. Now the truth became harder to pin down, and Remy's voice began to get lost in the chaos. And Makeda, well, she didn't make things any easier. She publicly filed an $80 million lawsuit against Remy for damages and pain and suffering. Remy, for her part, pleaded not guilty. She stuck to her story and claimed it was just an accident. She also said that her and Makeda were never that close. But things took another turn around August of 2007 when Makeda's boyfriend was jumped by a group of men and left with a shattered jaw. Almost immediately, rumors began to spread that Remy ordered the attack as revenge. Suddenly, she was facing 2 more charges, gang assault and witness tampering. And just like that, Remy Ma was stuck in a court battle that dragged well into 2008. At one point, Makeda even dropped the $80 million lawsuit, and Remy even took a polygraph test which confirmed that the shooting was accidental. Eventually, even Makeda admitted in court that the shooting was not intentional, but by then, it was too late. The prosecution was not interested in whether it was an accident or not. They were focused on getting a conviction. And after the August assault accusations, things were really not looking good for Remy. By March of 2008, the verdict came in and she was found guilty. She was convicted of assault, illegal weapons possession, and attempted coercion. While she was acquitted of gang assault and witness intimidation, it didn't really matter much. She was immediately taken into custody, awaiting sentencing in May. She kept her composure in court, but when they locked her up in the holding cell, reality hit her. She broke down, wailing about her son, who was only 7 years old at the time. And just like that, everything she had built, her career, her freedom, her future was gone. Now by May of 2008, Remy Ma was staring down a prison sentence, but before that, she had one last thing she wanted to do: marry Papoose. Now the two had been together since around 2005, and despite everything going on, they were determined to tie the knot. In true Bonnie and Clyde fashion, they planned a jailhouse wedding at Rikers Island, but the ceremony never happened. Right before the wedding, correctional officers discovered a skeleton handcuff key on Papoose, and suddenly, things went left. Authorities believed that he was trying to smuggle it in for Remy. And as a result, not only was the wedding cancelled, but Papoose was banned from visiting her for about 6 months.
When that story came out, it was the most ludicrous thing that I've ever heard. If only these people knew how strict he is when it comes to, first of all, I'm not even handcuffed. What do I need a handcuff key for? That's number one. But what's so sad is that the people who started the story and gave it to the newspaper, they actually ran with it. And when I was on Rikers in jail at the time. They had banned him from coming to see me for 6 months because of that.
Wow.
But I was happy because they ended up moving me to go upstate to the prison. So anything that you do while you're on Rikers, when you go to, the state prison, it doesn't apply. It's a city jail versus a state prison. However, in my case, because, I'm not special, they tell me that all the time. There's nothing special about me, just like everyone else. When he came to see me in the prison, they gave him a letter and told him to get off the property, that he was banned from coming to see me indefinitely.
And then the very next day, things got even worse. Remy stood before a judge, pleading for leniency. She spoke about her rough childhood, growing up in homeless shelters, surrounded by drugs, violence, and failure. She insisted that Remy Ma was just a persona, something she made for the industry, but it wasn't who she really was. She wasn't a menace, she wasn't a thug, she had so much more to offer society. But then, the judge was not moved at all. He described her as an incredibly angry young woman who had no control over her rage. Now, the fact that the jury had no people of color did not go unnoticed by many. And in the end, Remy was sentenced to 8 years in prison for intentional assault, weapons possession, and attempted coercion. And that's when Papoose snapped. As soon as the sentence was handed down, he lunged at a court officer, screaming that the system was corrupt and all they wanted was his money. He begged them to lock him up instead. Damn, Papoose. Like with everything that went down between Papoose and Remy, I really feel bad for the guy. But they dragged him away, restraining him as Remy was led out of the courtroom. And just like that, her almost decade-long bid began.
How is Remy? I know we spoke, I think, once or twice while you were away or whatever, but, what was like a typical day?
Horrible. I mean, it wasn't always bad. When you think about it, and you're like, you're away from your family and your loved ones, and all your movements are restricted, and it's somewhere you don't want to be.
Right.
But while you're there, you can either be miserable and succumb to, your surroundings, or you can just think of it as a temporary place and, a stopping point to where you're really trying to go.
Now, being in prison meant that Remy could not respond to anything happening in the rap world, including what would later become her biggest feuds, or one of her biggest feuds, with Nicki Minaj. Around 2007, while Remy was dealing with legal drama, Nicki dropped a freestyle on her Playtime Is Over mixtape that had everybody talking. On Dirty Money, she rapped, "Tell that bitch with the crown to run it like Chris Brown. She won 3 rounds, I'ma need 100 thou. Like Chinatown, bitches better bow down. Oh, y'all ain't know? Bet your bitches know now. I got a gun, let her know that I'm the one." Now the beat that Nicki Minaj chose was Terror Squad's Yeah Yeah Yeah, a track that Remy Ma herself had appeared on. In the Crown lyric, many thought was a direct reference to the crown Remy Ma wore in the Whatever music video.
Tell that bitch with the crown to run it like Chris Brown. You won 3 rounds, I'ma need 100 thou.
Now neither Nicki or Remy confirmed whether the song was actually a diss, but people read in between the lines and the tension was set. Now even from behind bars, Remy was not about to let this go. In a 2010 prison interview, she said she had once pressed Nicki at a mixtape release party over the song, but nothing really came of it. Still, she fully believed the song was about her, and she promised that one day she'd get her revenge. That revenge, however, would have to wait. First, she had to survive prison. To this day, I still feel like the song is a stab at me. I'm gonna diss Minaj back for that one. Now, even though Remy Ma was locked up, her voice never truly disappeared. Before her incarceration, she had recorded a ton of music, and her team made sure that her fans did not forget her. Just 1 month after she began her sentence, around September of 2008, she dropped the mixtape Blast Remy. Meanwhile, Mano and Red Cafe kept her name buzzing by featuring her on their tracks New York, New York, and What It Do.
What you saying, huh?
Lil mama, what it do?
Do you like it?
Lil mama, what it do?
The following year, DJ K-Slade dropped Bad Girls, and Papoose dropped Bucket Naked, keeping her voice alive in the streets.
Download the footage from the phone to the Mac and make a movie. A massive bedroom body, my shit come with a jacuzzi.
Now, despite being locked up, Remy maintained relevance, especially in Japan. By 2011, she featured in the documentary Black Lifestyle in Japan, where it was revealed that she was one of the most listened to hip-hop artists among young women in the country. So while things were shifting fast in the US, overseas, her impact never wavered. Even as her new releases slowed down, she still made an appearance on at least one track a year. 2011 featured on Papoose's Name Callin'.
You a savage, you a snake, you a crime ball, you a whack rapper, you a sneak, you a cutthroat, you a backstabber.
2012, a guest spot on Ron Browse's You're Not Mine. 2013, another collab with Papoose and What's My Name. Papoose. This man really loved that woman, man. But anyway.
She don't love me, she love my gangsta. She don't love me, she love my paper.
Now, by the time August 1st, 2014 rolled out, Remy Ma was finally free. But she was not the same person who had gone in. Yes, she was still Remy, and yes, she was still ready to put Nicki back in her place. But the version of her that came out of prison was very calm, more reserved, and wiser. And the thing is, she has something to show for it. While behind bars, she earned her GED and even managed to score a perfect score on the test. But now, it was time for the comeback. When I went to prison, it's mandatory to get your GED if you don't have a high school diploma. So they enrolled me into the classes, but I could never go because my husband visited me every day from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Oh my gosh. Poor Papoose, man. But when the test came, I took it and I got a perfect score. All of my scores in each subject were crazy. It was funny because the teachers and principals said that they had never had anyone get a perfect score. Someone had said she never even came to class. I said, you thought because I was a rapper that I was stupid? Now by the time Remy Ma walked out of prison in 2014, she wasn't just ready to return, she was determined to remind everyone exactly who the F she was. But unlike her early years, where she had to fight tooth and nail for recognition, things seemed very different now. She was already hip-hop royalty. Her comeback began strong. In 2014 of November, she independently dropped the mixtape, I'm Around, letting the world know she was back in business.
I'm the queen, I got a crown, ho. I wet I try to drown, ho.
That same year, she hopped in Audrey Rose's Ice Cream, along with the remixes of DJ Khaled's They Don't Love You No More, Quilly's Real One, and Dej Loaf's Try Me.
I'ma get this whole motherfucking final, and I ain't playing with nobody.
She jumped on more features around 2015, with Remy appearing on Papoose's Michael Jackson, Lee Mason's Ooh Ooh Baby, Ron Browse's She Don't Like Me the remix, Billy Bangle's Crown Me, and DJ Absolute's self-titled freestyle. She also dropped Remy on the Rocks, a compilation of her best mixtape tracks, and then announced something big. She was joining the cast of Love and Hip Hop New York. Now this move turned out to be one of the smartest moves of her career. Around 2015, she joined the recurring cast of Love and Hip Hop Check Yourself, appearing in 4 episodes before securing a main cast role in Love and Hip Hop New York. And she wasn't doing it alone. Her soon-to-be legal husband, Papoose, was right there with her, and their love story played out for the world to see. Their relationship became a fan favorite, and Remy proved that she was not just a rapper, she was an icon in reality TV. So for the past 2 years, Remy had been warming up, but 2016 was her true comeback. First, she and Papoose officially tied the knot in February, making their love story even more legendary. Then, just a month later, she dropped a bombshell. She was finally ready to drop another album, but not in a way anyone expected. Instead of going solo, she teamed up with her former mentor and Terror Squad bandmate, Fat Joe, for the collab album titled Plateau or Plomo, a phrase that translates into silver or lead.
Almost cried.
Wow.
Almost cried. We shot the video to our single Money Showers, me and Remy, and I got back to the house like maybe 5 in the morning, and she called me at 6 in the morning. I banged it on her. I didn't want to pick it up. She called my wife and she was like, yo, get him on the phone. So she gave me the phone. She was like, all right, I know you banged it on me. I know you don't want to know that. We nominated for 2 Grammys and shit. I was like, ah! You know, it's an honor, you know what I'm saying?
So your album comes out with Remy Ma next week. Now, she's not only your business partner, but she's your best friend. How does it feel to have such a genuine relationship in the music industry?
I'd explain it to you, man. It's a blessing, man. It's a dream come true. You know, I love everything she stands for, everything she's become. She's so mature. She's a businesswoman. She got the best husband ever. I'm not as good as him. Like, this guy's the best ever.
And just like that, Remy and Joe were back together. The album's first single, All the Way Up, featuring French Montana and Infrared, was an instant smash. It became an anthem for the new generation, earning 2 Grammy nominations and a triple platinum certification, making it the biggest hit of Remy's career. It was proof that no matter how long she had been gone, she was still a force in hip-hop.
I'm all the way up, I'm all the way up.
The album's other singles, Cooking, Money Showers, and Heartbreak, did not hit the same heights, but overall the album did well for what it was supposed to do. So at this point it was official. Remy Ma was back, and she was just getting started. Now, if All the Way Up was not proof enough that Remy Ma was back in full force, the rest of 2016 only reinforced it. She continued to stack heavy features, appearing on Nori's For the Win, Papoose's Black Love, What Happened to Black Love, and Fresh's Wait a Minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. One goddamn minute. Hold up, wait a minute.
At the same time, her presence on TV kept growing as she appeared on episodes of Inside the Label and Being. But while Remy was securing the bag, her relationship with Nicki Minaj took a turn. Now, up until this point, Remy had nothing but praise for Nicki. In fact, right after she was dropped from prison in 2014, she was quoted in an interview saying, "What I can say is that she's a wonderful woman. She's on the same page with me. Like, there's no need to tear someone down. I can say what I said. I let her know that I'm super proud of her."
The conversation you had with Nicki Minaj.
Right.
As MCs, you were somebody she looked up to when, you know, she was coming up, and now she's off to immeasurably popular, right? What was that conversation about? Like, what did you guys share? Did she share any, like, industry insights, business insights?
I think that I would like to keep that conversation private, because that's what it was. It was a private conversation. What I can say is that she's a wonderful woman, and she's on the same page with me. Like, that there's no need to try to tear somebody down. I can say what I said. You know, I let her know that I'm super proud of her, that I'm happy for everything that she was able to accomplish, and to not let people make her feel like she's doing anything wrong by being successful. You know, those are the things that I say. I would never, you know, come onto any public platform and say what she said to me. You know, just know it was all great, and it was a wonderful thing. And she actually, you know, she extended her hand the same way that I would do to someone else. And so some people that would die to probably get her on the phone, that have been probably trying to get her on the phone forever, and they can't. So, you know, I look at that as, you know, an honor, as well as, you know, a mutual respect for each other. But I just feel that sometimes people think, you know, she's doing this and she's up here. Like, why would she call Remy? Why would she? Like, it's not about how much money you make sometimes. Like, we're all human beings. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. The same way I'm looking at my Instagram and I'm seeing people like, oh, you got to do this to Nicki, or you got to do this, or people making these stupid memes or memes, or however you pronounce it. Like, I'm sure she sees the same thing. She has an Instagram page, and it was just so grown woman of her.
Later in the year, Remy Ma hopped on the instrumental of Minaj's only single, although she didn't fire any shots.
See my jewelry, you'll see rock like that imported vodka, that puff drink.
The following year, she appeared on another Nicki Minaj instrumental, Truffle Butter. And although the lyrics were more battle-ready, she did not take aim at Nicki.
Thinking out loud, you know I got the full fizzy on me right now. Keep saying, Rem, you need to drop a record.
Around June of 2016, the two even exchanged public congratulations. Remy Ma congratulated Nicki on winning BET's Rapper of the Year award. Nicki responded by shouting at Remy for having a great year. So things looked good at this point. Then, around October, Nicki hinted at a future collaboration, saying that she wanted to work with Remy on the Pink Print. But by December, things had taken a turn. That same month, Remy went to Hot 97's Funk Master Flex, and she showed up with Papoose, and she dropped a hot verse over Nas's New York State of Mind. And on the track, she did not hold back. She spoke about a mysterious woman whose whole style had been stolen, a subtle and clear shot at Nicki.
If I put you on punishment, now I gotta beat your ass. You like a disobedient teenager, wanna be in the streets so bad.
Then just weeks later, Remy hopped on the remix of Fresh's Wait a Minute, and this time she wasn't being subtle at all. Her verse said, "Fake breasts and ghostwriters," and even issued a warning shot that she could smoke her.
Will I smoke this bitch? Yes. Probably fail my piss test. Get rid of those fake breasts and put a vest on this bitch chest.
But by February of 2017, the controversy started picking up, and Remy denied that she was ever taking shots at Nicki. Was she telling the truth? Maybe. Or maybe she was just stirring the pot, letting the tension build. Because in just a few weeks, the biggest female rap beef of the decade was about to explode. Whenever I've had a problem with any female in this entire game, I will say your name. I'm going to say your government. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to say your mother's name, your father's name, your kid's name. I want you to know that I'm talking about you. But unfortunately, the damage had already been done. And by the end of February, Minaj had dissed Remy on not one, but 2 direct tracks. And she was a little less subliminal than Remy. She appeared on Jason Derulo's Swallow single and claimed she had given these bitches 2 years, but now the time was up.
I gave these bitches 2 years, now your time's up. Bless her heart, she throwing shots, but every line sucks.
2 days later, she appeared on Gucci Mane's Make Love, making some very obvious references to Remy in her verse. She ain't eating, but I swear she got some bum-ass taste. Text her man like, dog, how that bum-ass taste? Pay your rent and stay in your bum-ass place. Oh, you the queen? The queen of this here? 1 platinum plaque, album flopped, where? You see, silly rabbit, to be the queen of rap, you gotta sell records, you gotta get plaques. Now 24 hours later, Remy came back hard with one of the best diss tracks ever by a female rapper in the form of Sheetha. She rapped over Nas's Ether instrumental and dropped 7 minutes of pure blistering aggression, referencing Minaj's butt implants, use of ghostwriters, sniffing that Miley Cyrus, and even accused her of sleeping with other rappers, as well as for supporting her brother Jelani, who was accused of child molestation.
Talking about bringing knives to a fight with guns when the only shots you ever took was in your buns.
Then Remy dropped another diss track in the form of another one, kind of like how Drake did with Back to Back, but this one was very unnecessary and most people forgot about it very quick. Now by early 2017, the beef between Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj had finally reached its boiling point. Sheetha was deadly and had the entire internet losing their minds. And Remy, she was basking in the moment. She appeared on the Wendy Williams show in early March. And she came dressed for a funeral. Literally. She wore a tiny black veil over her face and told Wendy she had come prepared for Nicki's memorial service. To top it off, she claimed her grandmother told her to not speak ill of the dead.
I came appropriate for the services.
You know what? I wasn't going to mention it because I don't want to be petty.
She's been doing this to a lot of females, from Lil Kim to Mariah to Taylor. It was the behind the scene things that you people would never know about, you know, as far as trying to keep me off of red carpets and trying to make sure awards don't go to me or she's not going to be in attendance, or trying to get people to make bad reports about my album sales or just anything that I'm doing to make me look less and make her look better.
Now, according to Remy, she revealed some things. Nicki had been pulling strings behind the scenes to block her from award shows. She was also being kept off red carpets. And Nicki was telling media outlets to say that Remy's album, the one with Fat Joe, was terrible. She also made it very clear that she was not waiting for a response from Nicki, because as far as she was concerned, it was already over. So what did Nicki do in response? She dropped No Frauds, where she teamed up with Drake and Lil Wayne. On the track, she mocked Remy's poor album sales and accused her of spreading lies. And this track was not full of heavy jabs like Sheetha, but it was Nicki's way of saying, look, I am doing better than you in rap, my sales are better than yours, so shut the F up and sit down.
Can't be Pablo if your work ain't selling. What the fuck is this bitch in Helen?
But Remy was not backing down. At Hot 97 Summer Jam, she delivered the ultimate power move. She brought out Queen Latifah, Young M.A., Lil Kim, MC Lyte, Lady of Rage, and Cardi B, a lineup of female rap legends except for Cardi B, and together they performed Latifah's 1993 anthem, Unity.
I represent real bitches. And it wouldn't be a motherfucking real bitch festival if I ain't had a motherfucking queen in the fucking building. What's up? All y'all bitches got that? I let them know. You gotta let them know.
Then, right after that, she launched into Sheether, while images of Nicki were played across the screen. It was the final nail in the coffin, and while the beef never officially ended, it cooled off after that, with neither party making any real attempts to mend things. But if we're keeping score, Remy was on top and Nicki was down. Now after her battle with Nicki, Remy Ma shifted her focus back to building her brand and securing the bag. She dropped her own clothing store, Conceited in North Carolina. She made appearances on 6 reality TV shows, including Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party, Wild and Out, and Lip Sync Battle.
Pat, at the beginning of the show, you said you killed me, and I don't even doubt him, because other being with Remy, I don't know about him.
On the musical front, she continued to drop features, though none of them charted. Keisha Cole's You, A$AP Ferg's East Coast, and Mariah Carey's I Don't the remix. She also began working on her long-awaited second solo album, initially titled 7 Winters and 6 Summers, a reference to her 6.5 years in prison. Unlike her past music, the project was supposed to be more introspective, diving into her struggles, her growth, and her time behind bars. But despite releasing multiple singles, the album never materialized. Maybe because at this point, Remy had secured her money elsewhere, and maybe the attention was not on her music anymore as a solo artist. The first single, Wake Me Up, featuring Lil Kim, dropped around November of 2017, and the track sampled Kim's 1998 classic, Queen Bitch. Then around January of 2018, she dropped another song called Melanin Magic featuring Chris Brown. Her final push came around April 2018 when she dropped Company featuring A Boogie with the Hoodie. Outside of these singles, the only other track Remy dropped that year was New Thing with French Montana, which was featured in the Uncle Drew movie soundtrack.
Trade the 4-door for the coupe thing. She want them high heels, no shoestrings.
At this point, music was not her only focus anymore. She transitioned into not just being a rapper, but being a full-fledged businesswoman and reality TV star. Now, after years of constant hustle, Remy Ma finally hit the brakes in her music, at least for a while. Instead of chasing hits, she spent the next few years growing her family and expanding her empire. In December of 2018, she and Papoose welcomed their daughter, Reminisce Mackenzie, into the world. And their pregnancy journey was documented in the Love and Hip Hop spin-off, Remy and Papoose Meet the Mackies, giving fans an intimate look at their growing family. Ugh.
He feels how I feel eventually. No.
When I was 18, my mom, my sisters, they all shipped themselves off to North Carolina so that they could be next to the rest of my family. I kind of want to be next to my family now, too. Granted, Papoose whole family lives in New York, but that's fine.
But while she stepped back from the studio, she was still making major moves in entertainment. Even with a newborn, Remy was still on reality TV. She made appearances on shows like Hip Hop Squares and The Real. She appeared on State of the Culture with Joe Budden from 2018 to 2020, and I really liked that show. I wonder what happened to that. And around 2019, she joined the recurring cast of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And despite years of delays, she kept teasing her long-awaited sophomore album, and by March of 2020, she dropped the title Reminisce. By the time 2021 arrived, Remy had moved on from Love and Hip Hop and slowed down her music output, choosing instead to focus on passion projects. That year, she ended her 3-year music hiatus by dropping Back Outside and Godmother. She also expanded her TV resume. She appeared on an episode of Uncensored, became a recurring co-host on season 14 of The Wendy Williams Show. Then, she stepped into acting, starred in the film 645 and Big 50, The DeLaunder, I can't even say that, guys, The DeLaunder Hood Story. By 2022, her acting career continued to grow, with appearances in Black Love, Behind the Music, a guest role on Queens. In 2023, she starred in the TV movie Girl in the Closet. But even though she was acting a lot and hosting a lot, Remy could not stay away from hip-hop. Around 2022, she founded Chrome 23, a battle rap league designed to spotlight female talent. So from dominating the rap game to conquering reality TV, acting, and battle rap, Remy Ma has evolved beyond just an artist. She's a mogul, a mentor, and an icon. Proof that no matter how many times she's been counted out, she always finds a way to come back stronger. But now guys, we have to talk about Remy Ma and Papoose. We just have to talk about it. So by December of 2024, both parties were on social media airing out their grievances. Remy Ma accused Papoose of having an affair with professional boxer Clarissa Shields, while Papoose claimed that Remy Ma chose to cheat repeatedly. But in fact, the cheating rumors began around 2023 when Remy Ma was accused of sleeping with Easy the Block captain.
Every interview, he show his admiration and tell the world how his woman the greatest. Nigga, he held you down in prison for 6 years. I know it was nice, he cried big tears. He stood by you by your biggest accomplishment, front row giving you big tears. Now y'all got a beautiful baby girl who oh so amazing. He be damned if he lose you to this bozo with braces. Nigga, hey, the world ain't never supposed to know what you and me going through. But this nigga behind closed doors running his mouth like a hoe supposed to do. Got niggas making blogs and YouTubes, people arguing in the comments if those posts is true. Cause them TMZ and Shade Room outlets, they only know you. Listen, should've fucked with me, I wouldn't have ran my mouth. He took you out to eat the best foods. When you ain't feeling good, he put you back in the best moods. Yeah, he knocked him out because he be damned to keep seeing you get stepped to by some nigga he socked out and stood over like a step stool. If you think he didn't love you, he would have put up with all of this shit. Yo, Papoose. Yes, sir. That's how you talk to your bitch, nigga.
Papoose eventually ended up punching Easy, and just like that, Black Love, the symbol of Black Love, Papoose and Remy Ma were finally coming to an end, and it was just sad to see. The thing is, even while Remy Ma was locked up in prison, Papoose would visit her constantly because he couldn't bear to be without her, and he wanted to support her while she was in prison. And it's almost like he was doing the prison bit with her because he was there all the time. And I saw an interview with Remy Ma talking about this, and it seemed like she was annoyed at the fact that Papoose was visiting her constantly. And from my perspective, it seemed like Remy Ma did not appreciate Papoose at all.
I'm gonna be like, Pat used to come see me literally every single day, so I was chilling. I was like,
so he came up every day? Every visit?
For the first year, he came literally every single day. When you're in a max, you have a visit every day, except for it alters on the weekends, Saturday or Sunday. So literally the first year,
how far is Bedford Hills from?
It's about 45 to an hour, depending on traffic.
So he was running up there every day, like coming up there.
Yeah, to like, I mean, it got to a point where I had to tell him like, yo, like, I'm good. I'm alright, like, and I guess like when he believed it that was alright, and I was like, he was like, alright, cool, and then he'll come like a little bit less. He'll come like 3 times a week, or like, you know, but it still seemed like he was there a lot. I spoke to him almost literally every day.
Now, I actually saw Remy Ma and Papoose in person during some award show. The whole event took place in Prudential Center in New Jersey, and it was very telling. During the whole award show, people were constantly talking to Remy Ma, asking her questions, bringing her into the spotlight, while Papoose was there in the background, and I don't remember anybody asking Papoose anything. It's almost like he was a background character in her life, right? So maybe that got to her head and she was thinking, look, I'm the star of the show, I'm the one doing this and that in front of the camera, and I essentially have more fame than you. In my opinion, she lost respect for Papoose over time, and as a result, she began cheating, and we got all this commotion. In the end, it was very sad to see Papoose and Remy Ma split up. They were the symbol of Black Love. I mean, they even dropped a song called Black Love together. Come on. But now it's over.
Hair and blow dried it, low heat. I'm a boss, here boss, no boss, no me.
Papoose is seeing someone else, and so is Remy Ma. That's it for the video. Today, Remy Ma is considered rap royalty, and on Spotify, she has about 2.2 million monthly listeners, and her most listened to songs are All the Way Up, Conceited, Lean Back, and Ghetto and Ratchet. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to Remy Ma in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.